This is why you should put a limiter on your master track. I know it's common practice, everybody does it, but you shouldn't just do things because everybody does it. You need to understand why. You need to understand how things function. That way you can make the best decisions for your music. So I'm going to explain to you what exactly a limiter does, how it functions, and why you should put on your master track. Okay, so let's say we have a ceiling here. The limiter acts kind of like a ceiling for your sound. If I were to press on the ceiling as hard as I could, I was like, and just like pressed as hard as I could on the ceiling, it's not going anywhere, right? It's not moving anywhere because it's a ceiling. It's solid and nothing goes through it, no matter how hard I push. If I took a ball, threw it at the ceiling, it would literally come right back down. That's what a ceiling does. It contains everything in a certain space, and that's what it's doing to your sound. So when you put a limiter on a master track, you already have your mix song. You have all your elements in here. There's drums, there's piano, there's bass, there's vocals. Everything peaks differently. There's going to be a bunch of sounds that peak. Some of them are more quiet, some of them are louder. And when that happens, it's very sporadic and you can't really control it. And so you have to put a limiter on there. Okay, so when your song is mixed, we like to keep it low so that there's headroom, right? But when we turn everything up, when you surpass 0 dB, you're going to start introducing distortion and unwanted noise. So when you take this mix and you just turn it up, you may turn it up so that the song is loud enough, but these peaks are going to go over 0 dB, and that's going to create unwanted distortion in your master track, in your final product. So the ceiling of 0 dB is right here, and you want these parts to be loud. What's it going to do? It's going to go over. These peaks are going to go over. So what we do is we need to make up the gain by turning your mix up. But if you turn the mix up without a ceiling, obviously without a limiter, obviously these peaks are just going to go right over the 0 dB threshold. But what if we put a ceiling on it? If we put a limiter, all these peaks that are going over 0 dB are going to be contained under that ceiling because we have a limiter on it. Therefore, all these sounds, they get pressed down and keep beneath the ceiling. So now you can continue to turn these parts up. These quiet parts can get louder, right? We can push it further up against the ceiling. Like I said, no matter how much of my body I press up against the ceiling, it's not going to go through. It's just going to hit this peak and it's going to stop. And that's how you get your songs to be louder. You contain these peaks and you turn up the volume so that this becomes closer to the ceiling, therefore it's louder. This is essentially what you're doing to your signal, right? These parts are going to get louder. They're going to become closer to that ceiling, but that ceiling is still going to retain these peaks, because if you didn't have a limiter on it, obviously these peaks will be like way up here. They'd be way too loud above 0 dB, and that's going to create a lot of noise that you don't want, and then your mix won't sound good anymore. So that's exactly why you put a limiter on there. A limiter is to limit the sound. It's the ceiling, it's a brick wall, and nothing surpasses it. So it allows you to turn the gain up on your mix while containing all these underneath your ceiling. And this is a very important concept to understand when you are mixing, when you are mastering, because if you just throw a limiter on there but you don't know what you're doing, we might end up using it in the wrong ways. So exactly what a limiter does is it creates a ceiling so that nothing goes above that, so that you can turn things up louder and you don't have to worry about these peaks. If you found this helpful, I teach you a lot more music production in this channel, but I also have a free training that talks specifically about producing for artists and landing them as high-ticket clients so that you can sell your production and create a career with your music. And if that's something you're interested in, I am going to leave a link down below in the description so that you can access that training. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Please press the like, the subscribe, all the different YouTube things, and I will see you in the next video.